we need to separate ourselves from Israel. It is an enormous drag on American, it's a cancer on American foreign policy.
You know that people will hear this and find those words objectionable and say they're our only friend in the Middle East, the only democracy, the only people we can trust in that part. Why would we ever turn our backs on the Israelis?
I find it objectionable to send my college-age kids to fight and die so Mrs. Mohammed can vote in an Afghan election, and then after all those kids die, to run away and leave the country, go back to the Taliban. I'll take the abuse if people can explain what in the world this political elite is doing to our young people.
That's the issue. Why can't the one Jewish state the size of El Salvador be allowed to exist? That is the Middle East problem.
Regarding what is to be done about the Muslim world, we should bend every effort to fix our oil problem and then adopt a non-interventionist foreign policy towards the Muslim world. What we want is Muslims killing Muslims and Muslims killing Israelis, a pox on both their houses. Now, Michael, I got to ask you, did you really mean to say that?
Explicitly, directly, and exactly, sir. I meant exactly that. America's founders intended our country to be a model to the world, not the imposer of our values or Canadian values or European values in the rest of the world. If the rest of the world wants to adopt what we have here in North America or in Europe, God love them, let them do it. But to use the taxes and the manpower and the lives of our children, whether American, Canadian, or British, or any other nationality, to try to impose on another people values they don't want, is to me very close to criminal. And basically, the animosity toward the West has come from our intervention in the Muslim world. The problem in the Muslim world is basically intra-civilizational, between Shias and Sunnis, between Muslims and the governments that oppress them, and between Muslims and Israelis. Let them sort it out. This is none of our business. If Israel or Palestine disappear tomorrow, it makes not a lick of difference to the way life is lived in North America.
Well, you're saying two different things in that quote. The first part, we should have a non-interventionist foreign policy as it relates to the Middle East, is presumably a defensible position. You can argue that one way or the other. But to say what we want is Muslims killing Muslims and Muslims killing Israelis, a pox on both their houses, I mean, that's a pretty tough thing to say, isn't it, Michael?
I don't think it is. We don't want them killing us. I guess that's the definition of national defense. We should not be having our own people killed in wars that are basically none of our business except for oil and our desire to protect the Israelis. It's about time we begin to take care of our own house. At least, Steve, all I can speak for is what I feel for the United States and what I think our country should stand for. And I don't think it should be involved in other people's wars where we don't understand what's going on and the outcome of which is basically irrelevant to us.
Well, I totally understand when you say we don't want Muslim fundamentalists or terrorists coming over here and killing us. I think everybody's on side with that. I think the problematic line is, what we want is Muslims killing Muslims and Muslims killing Israelis. Why would we want that? Why don't we just want peace in the world?
Well, if it turns out to be peace, I think that's terrific. But what we want in a world of war, which is what we have at the moment, is the best possible thing for Americans or Canadians or Europeans or Japanese who have no interest in the fights that are going on between Israelis and Muslims or Muslims and their governments or Shias and Sunnis. Why do we need to be involved in that? We have just virtually no influence in it except if we want to become the perennial military intervener to keep them from killing each other.
Understood.